So here we have our command to create the table. So AWS, we just always have to type that to establish the domain we're operating in. DynamoDB, the service, and then this is the actual command. So these are not commands. These are not commands. This is the command, create table. Dash dash table name, content library, and then dash dash attribute definitions. One attribute name is going to be author year. Another attribute name is going to be topic difficulty. And then we always have to put a comma after to say that it's going to be each of these are going to be strings. So this uppercase S here is for string. Then we do dash dash key schema, and this is where we're going to specify the schema. So again, attribute name equals author year. We've already said that it's string, but now we have to say the key type equals hash, meaning this is going to be our partition key. So we're going to have one partition for an for a particular author in a particular year, and then the other attribute topic difficulty is going to be the sort key, the range key. Dash dash billing mode, pay per request. So let's give all this a go. Let's see what happens if we put this into the command line interface. Okay. So here we are. Whoa. Okay. So we get back, it says usage, AWS options, command, subcommand. To see help desk, you can run AWS help, AWS command help. AWS error, the following arguments are required. Dash dash attribute definitions, dash dash table name. Oh, we didn't, okay, so it didn't paste the whole thing in. Okay. We're probably better typing it out then. So let's give it a go. Typing it out. Okay, so. But we can't. Every time I go onto a new line. Let's try it again. So I paste it. Paste anyway. Right, let's try again. So AWS DynamoDB space create table. That's the command. Then a backslash to go to the next line. Specify the table name. We're going to be calling it content library. Next line. Next line, backslash. Ooh. Backslash dash dash attribute definitions. Attributes are like columns. Dash attribute name. Attribute name equals author year, all one word. Next line. Oh, and we have to do comma and then say the attribute type is going to be a string. Then space, next line, attribute name equals topic difficulty. Again, comma, no comma space. It's not comma space, it's just comma and then attribute type. And that's going to be a string as well. So the type of attribute, it's a string. Not all attributes are strings. Space, next line. Now we can talk about the dash dash key schema. Next line. Attribute name equals author year, comma, key type equals hash, all uppercase. Next line. Attribute name equals topic difficulty. Topic difficulty, comma. This is not going to be key type hash. This is going to be key type equals range, all uppercase. Next line. Dash dash billing mode. Space. Pay per request. And what's it going to say? the following commands are required. -- key schema. I did type -- key schema. You know, I don't know where to go with this. Look, you can see it right here. AWS create table help. Oh, I can't even do the help command right. Even though it said you can do AWS command help. AWS create table. AWS DynamoDB create table help. Okay, description, so that's better. The create table operation adds a new table to your account. In an Amazon Web Services account, table names must be unique within each region. That is, you can have two tables with the same name if you create the tables in different regions. Create table is an asynchronous operation. Upon receiving a create table request, DynamoDB immediately returns a response with a table status of creating. After the table is created, DynamoDB sets the table status to active. You can perform read and write operations only on an active table. More. Okay, so I just keep pressing the return button on my keyboard. So attribute definitions. Well, we did that. -- table name, we did that. Key schema, we did that. We did all, you know, we did this. I don't know. What's it talking about? It doesn't. I think it doesn't like this backwards slash. I copied the command you gave me. I am working with CMD. I'm working with command prompt on a Windows PC. It doesn't seem to like my using backwards slashes at the end of each line. Can you help? Okay, so we can do it all on one line. So I can actually just go like this. Oh, bug off! It's giving me the whole documentation. No. Oh my word. I don't know how to get out of that. Oh, great. Yep. Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. No, I can't. Right, great. Thanks a lot. I have typed the command AWS DynamoDB create table help. I am getting lines upon lines of documentation in the command prompt. How can I escape? So it says you can do Control plus C. Control and C. There we go. Okay, so let's check. AWS configure. Oh, it wants me to authenticate again. Let's use that. See, this is my access key ID. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 characters. Just better not separate them. And so to be clear, these are associated, and it says the last ones are UZMH, and it's telling me that the secret access key is even longer. Anyway, the point is these are associated with these are not sort of for the whole account, they are for one IAM user operating in the account. Okay, so this is one IAM user. I'll have the default region, that's fine. So now we can go back, and I've got this create table command. So the key point is when you're doing a command and you do a parameter, so like dash dash table name, okay, that's a parameter, that's not a command itself, that's a parameter within a command. That doesn't have to be on a new line. You can just do space dash dash table name space dash dash attribute definitions and then dash dash key schema. So it can all be on one line. So here we go, I'm going to paste it all, and here we go. I've not pressed enter yet. So we've got the create table command, we've got the table name, the attribute definitions, and then attribute name with the uppercase A and the uppercase N, and it obviously continues across the line. So, and we've got the key type being specified for each of the attributes. One of them key type equals range, one of them key type equals hash. I'm probably going to... Okay, so this looks like it's worked. And I'm going to be using throughout the AWS Management Console just to get confirmation, slightly more explicit confirmation that things are working, because, you know, that we don't get anything back from the command line interface. It just says it's just an unknown output type, none. I don't know what that means. Perhaps that's the point. It comes back with none, and when the command prompt is saying we don't know what that is, what that type of output is. It's just a non-output. It's an unknown output. But I think it's been successful. So let's go to DynamoDB on the console. Okay. So on the left here you can see we've got dashboards, tables, explore items, particle editor, backups, exports to S3, imports from S3, integrations, reserved capacity and settings. So if I go on tables, so I've got two tables here. I've got Dogits database 2 and stock state. Actually, that's quite worrying. So it looks like the command, always check you're in the right region. The tables I've created were in London. So I go to EU West 2. This is what you've got to remember. You've got to have your concepts clear in your mind, because if you think of the console as just on its own, this sort of transcendent view that sees all tables in existence, it's not. It's a little box. Even though it's the management console, it's a little box in the region you're in. And there we go. It has worked. We've got one table here. This column says name. The name is content library. The status of the table is active. It says, does it have a partition key? And what's it called? And it does. It's author year. Does it have a sort key? It's topic difficulty. Does it have any indexes? No, 0 indexes on this. We haven't got deletion protection on it. That's fine. What's the read capacity mode? It's on demand. The total size is 0 bytes. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this to it, a VPC advanced patterns. So this is a reinvent talk.
It kind of looked like this.
So it's called Advanced VPC Designs and New Capabilities. So let's work this out. So this was given in 2023. So the year 2023. The author, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to pick one of the authors, Matt Laywes.
And away we go. So before we begin, this is and away we go. So
give me the title card.
Networking specialist and amazing networking wizard as well.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm honored and humbled by the numbers, so thank you.
It really helps and makes you come around and spend hundreds of hours in PowerPoint and designing stickers, and it just makes it all worthwhile.
For sure.
All right, so we've got a lot of content, so we're going to get right in there. This is...
So Lehwess, Laywes, Matt Laywes. So there's our author. The year is 2023. The title is Advanced VPC Designs and New Capabilities. And you can tell from the fact that it's called Net 306 that the difficulty level is 300. It's within 300. So 300. So I would like to add an item to the table. The author is Matt Laywes. The year of the work is 2023. The difficulty level is 300. The topic is VPC. How would I go about this? You go about this using the command line interface. So the command is going to be what? Put item. So here's the put item command, formatted for Windows command prompt. Now, yes, and it says, thankfully it puts it on a single line for the Windows command prompt. Even this doesn't work. I cannot paste multiple lines onto the Windows command prompt. So we have to say, we're going to be putting an item, the table name is content library, and then we do dash dash items. So this is a parameter, and this is where we provide a lot of detail. So let's break it down. Opening speech mark, and then a backward slash, and the backward slash have within them author year. The backward slash is basically it's called an escape character, and it's escaping the speech marks. So we're saying, look, let these speech marks be. So it's basically backslash speech mark, and then you see backslash speech mark, backslash speech mark, so it's always that pattern. So you can sort of ignore the backslashes if you want, as long as you read them as marking the presence of a speech mark. So this is really author year, the word author year within the speech marks. Then we have a colon, and then we have an S in speech marks, an uppercase S in speech marks, and then so why an uppercase S? Because that's the way you do it. It stands for string, and you do string colon and then 2023 Matt Laywes. Well, that's our partition key. Well, that's our value for the partition key for this item. So that's kind of one. Hold on a minute. So when we say author year, the value is is in braces. So we have an object. So 2023 Matt Laywes. Then we have a comma. Then we say topic difficulty, and then we have this object, string VPC 300, and then we have title and then example title. Okay. So can you change that single line command so that it includes the title of the work of the presentation? So the title of Laywes's presentation is Advanced VPC Design, Advanced VPC Design Designs and New Capabilities. And I'm giving most of the words there uppercase letters. I'm not giving an uppercase letter for the word and. Okay, so again, it's still AWS. We have to start with AWS, DynamoDB, then the put item command, -- table name, content library, -- item, and then author year, colon, and then we have an object, and then topic difficulty, and then we have an object. But now we've just made it clear that title is going to be there as well, and the item overall is in braces. So there's the opening brace. That's not containing author year. It is, but it's not only containing author year. It doesn't belong to author year. Author year is just laid bare. This brace that opens here just before author year in fact gets closed over here, there. That's the closing brace. So the whole thing, all this green, is one object. So it's author year and then an object, and that's the actual data of that key, the value of that key. We have to say string 2023 Matt Laywes. Topic difficulty, and then it's a string, it's VPC, it's level 300. Title, we have to say it's a string, so and we have to put S in speech marks, and therefore we have to use / speech mark. Okay, let's see if this works. Interesting, I don't have to specify the region. I've got the table name. Maybe that's okay. Maybe AWS can work that out. And there we go. It's incorrect. The file name, directory name, or volume label syntax is incorrect. So let's try and help ChatGPT out. Let's go to the AWS command line interface reference. And DynamoDB. And let's go to version 2, because I'm using version 2.11 of the command line interface. And then we can see that there's one command called create-table. Click on that. and it tells us that we need dash dash attribute definitions, dash dash table name, dash dash key schema. Ah. Yeah, let's try that actually. So the approach is to try a simple command to ensure that the AWS CLI is working correctly. So instead of all the long command we had before where we specified the author year, the topic difficulty and even the title, let's make it simpler. It don't have to be radically simpler, but AWS DynamoDB put item table name content library dash dash item, and all we're going to provide is author year colon and then an object, and the object is a key value pair. Oops, let's go back. The system cannot find the path specified. What the hell? Yeah. Again, very strange behaviour. Oh, okay, so I'm not... Oops. No, it's not it's not logging me in. I'm not logged in. AWS access key ID, yes. Secret access key, yes. Default region name, yes. Default output format, yes. And then nothing back. AWS CLI configure. That seems to work. AWS configure. Oh, okay. AWS access key ID. And how many numbers in this? 1, 2, 3 different numbers. 2, a 7, and a 5. A 2 and a 7 and a 5 in there. So we do that. Secret access key. This has got lots of lowercase letters in it. We've got a 5. We've got a 1, a 6. Okay. So we'll put in the secret access key. Default region, right, fine. I think I'm in now. If I do AWS -- version, we're using AWS CLI 2.11.0 / that's funny, / and Python. We seem to have Python installed 3.11.2 and Windows for Windows 10. That's fine. Prompt off. So let's just try again. So copy code, let's try the simple command, put item. The system cannot find the path specified. Okay, let's debug. The error message, the system cannot find the path specified, is unusual for AWS CLI commands, and usually pertains to issues with the command line environment or the path configuration. Here's how you can troubleshoot and resolve this issue. Troubleshooting steps. 1. Check AWS CLI installation. Ensure that the AWS CLI is properly installed and configured on your system. You can verify this by running AWS -- version. This command should return the version of the AWS CLI. If it doesn't, you may need to reinstall or correctly configure the AWS CLI. So we'll do AWS -- configure. Oh no. But it doesn't ask me to authenticate again. So it's saying there's a problem with that. What I meant to do is AWS -- version. Okay, that works. Verify the path environment variable. Ensure that the directory containing aws.exe is included in your system's path environment variable. Here's how you can check and modify the path variable. Right-click on this PC or computer on your desktop or in File Explorer. Select Properties. Click on Advanced System Settings. And then Environment Variables. Under System Variables, find and select the path variable. Click Edit and ensure that the path to the directory containing aws.exe is included. Well, the first question is, where's aws.exe? I can narrow that down. Yeah, it is. C, program files, Amazon, AWS CLI v2. So it's in our environment variable. What happens if I move it up? I don't know. HP, Git, system32. Hopefully that doesn't cause problems, the fact that I've moved it up. But again, this is a command that should work. It's madness. Let's try the command again. That's not as same as us. No such this is the system. The system cannot find the path specified. AWS CLI on command prompt. What is the reason for the error message? System cannot find the path specified. I have folder run in folder system32. Maybe it's because we changed. Does the order of environment variables on Windows matter? How are Windows system environment variables or environment variables evaluated? To be absolutely clear, there is a difference between how the user path environment variable is evaluated and the other user environment variables are evaluated. A regular user environment variable overrides completely a system one with the same name if both exist, but only for the specific user it is specified for. However, the user path variables is treated differently. It is appended to the system path variable when evaluated, rather than completely replacing it. I believe Splash states that, but they do it so concisely I think it needs spelling out. So I think this article should answer your question. Environment variables in Windows NT. User environment variables. User environment variables can be viewed from Control Panel as well. The user may add, delete, or modify the environment variables in the user environment variables for the user field. These variables take precedence over system environment variables. The user path is appended to the system path. So user variables, system variables. What we did was oh no, we can't change the order, but so path. So within path there are lots of different things, and I've put Amazon at the bottom, and we have this move up and move down. So let's try moving it down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's uninstall. yeah. Right. Edit. Edit. Let's go and delete that. Delete. Okay. 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 By the way, I wonder if this still works. Yeah. Okay. This topic describes how to install or update the latest release of the AWS command line interface on supported operating systems. For information on the latest releases of AWS CLI, see the AWS CLI version 2 changelog on GitHub. To install a past release of the AWS CLI, see install past releases of the AWS CLI version 2. For uninstall instructions, see uninstall the AWS CLI version 2. AWS CLI versions 1 and 2 use the same AWS command name. If you previously installed AWS CLI version 1, see Migrate from AWS CLI version 1 to AWS CLI version 2. AWS CLI install and update instructions. For installation instructions, expand the section for your operating system, Linux, macOS, Windows. Install and update requirements. We support the AWS CLI on Microsoft-supported versions of 64-bit Windows. Admin rights. You need admin rights to install software. Install or update the AWS CLI. To update your current installation of AWS CLI on Windows, download a new installer each time you update to overwrite previous versions. AWS CLI is updated regularly. To see when the latest version was released, see the AWS CLI version 2 changelog on GitHub. 1. Download and run the AWS CLI MSI installer for Windows 64-bit. Alternatively, you can run the msiexec command to run the MSI installer. So let's copy code. So it's msiexec.msi/i, and then we have a URL, https awscli.amazonaws.com/awscli.msi. And now we get this box that appears, preparing to install. So that's all you type. msiexec.exe. exe is short for executable, so it's an extension like .jpeg, .png, .exe. Microsoft installer. That's what MSI means. Now we get this dialog box with these back, next buttons, almost like a little PowerPoint. Welcome to the AWS Command Line Interface v2 Setup Wizard. The Setup Wizard will install AWS Command Line Interface v2 on your computer. Click Next to continue or cancel to exit the setup. Please read the following license agreement carefully. It's copyright. All the rights are reserved. I accept the terms in the license agreement. A copy of the license is located at aws.amazon.com/apache2.0/. Custom setup. Select the way you want features to be installed. Click the icons in the tree below to change the way the features will be installed. And looks like we don't have much choice. It says the location is going to be C:, and then a / program files, because this is a program, it's the command line interface program, so we have a special folder called program files for any files relating to them, / Amazon, / AWS CLI v2. That's fine. Ready to install command line interface v2. Click install to begin the installation. Click back, this button here, to review or change any of your installation settings. Let's click install. Do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Completed the AWS Command Line Interface version 2 Setup Wizard. Click Finish to exit the wizard. Now if I do AWS -- version, what? Maybe I have to close and open again. That's mad. That should work. Close it. Close it and open again. AWS -- version. And we're off. We're in. We've got version 2.17. Excellent. AWS EC2. Describe instances. AWS S3 list buckets. What is it? AWS S3 LS. There we go. There are my buckets. Okay, so we're in. We're working. Those are my actual buckets in my account. So we seem to be authenticated. Which is funny actually, because that is funny. All I've done is installed this program. I've never actually told it what AWS account I own. When did I didn't have to put in an access key ID. I didn't have to put in a secret access key. I've never linked this physical PC with my AWS account, have I? So, I don't know. That seems very strange. Maybe I'm still authenticated. I don't know. Okay. Right, let's just run that command again. Copy code. Oh gosh. Right, and that's it. The system cannot find the path specified. So we try to use the CLI, but it just doesn't work. If I copy that, I can't even look. Content library -- item. And what else can you do? I've reinstalled the command line interface. Okay. Right, let's try that. So describe table, content library. Okay. Hey! Okay, well that's a start, isn't it? So maybe that's what we had to do. Maybe we had to do AWS configure, and maybe it helps that we've said our oh, I see. Unknown output type, none. So when we're configuring it, we need to say, give me the output as text. You need to specify an output type. That was the problem. Okay, so now it's telling us, okay, table, all in uppercase letters, table. And then we've got a timestamp, 2024-08, meaning August, -26. So that's a day, and then an uppercase T, and then 10:17:47. That's a time. So 17 past 10. .466000 +01. I don't know what that means. 466000. Is that milliseconds? After the time, maybe. And then it says false 0. It says ARN. This is an Amazon resource name, so it's ARN AWS DynamoDB EU West 2 London 7379 1163 4202 table /contents library. So that's all that is the ARN. You get used to the structure of it. So you have that account ID table and then the actual name. So table /name, or you might say role /Harry, or bucket / So that's, you always have the type of the resource, then a / then the actual name. And then here it says it's this kind of string. We've got these segments separated by dashes. 07AC 6682 4866 46A8 B112 to these lowercase letters. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's some sort of identifier. So then it says content library 0 active. So all uppercase letters active. That means the table is active. So we've said that we have the word, you'll spot the word table, all uppercase. You might also spot the word attribute definitions. Attribute definitions. All as if it's being shouted. Attribute definitions. Author year. String. Attribute definitions. Again on another line. Topic difficulty. Because there are two attributes. We have the author year attribute and the topic difficulty attribute. Next line, billing mode summary. It's been squashed together. Billing mode summary. It's pay per request. And we have another timestamp, 2024-08-26, just like the timestamp up here, 2024-08-26, 10:17:47. And again, it's exactly the same. So maybe this timestamp is saying this is when we started being, we selected the billing mode. So maybe you can have a table and you can change billing mode halfway through, and then the timestamps would be different. I'm not sure. And again, 466000, those 6 digits. Key schema, the key schema. So attribute definitions, and then all in uppercase key schema. So that just means, well, here, these two lines are going to be telling us some information about the key schema. So on the first line, we can establish that author year is the hash key, meaning the partition key. And a part is a spatial word. It's about where, that word where, is about where on the server, on the disks in the Amazon data centers, the data is stored. So it's actually a physical location, very small locations, pretty close together for us, but they are spatial locations at the end of the day. So the hash key, also called the partition key, and then we're using topic difficulty. I've squashed the topic and the difficulty together, and that's going to be my range key. So we have our hash and our range, called sort key, and it's provisioned throughput. So our throughput has been provisioned in advance. So these are all, we get these lines. We get attribute definitions, billing mode summary, key schema, and it's provisioned throughput. Let's have a look at this information in a different format. So I'm going to go AWS --configure. Oh, AWS configure, no dashes. Provide the access key ID. I will provide the secret access key. I will provide a region name. I think it's better just to always type it. I think it's better. Perhaps you can press enter and then without typing anything there, but even if you're just typing the one that you've got in square brackets, EUS2, it's just to have it, builds that awareness of where you are. So I'm operating in the London region here, EUS2. Now instead of text, let's make the output format table. Now let's try AWS DynamoDB describe table -- table name is going to be content library. Right, and that's a bit nicer, isn't it? I think, because it's clear. We've got one column here. We now can see what that false is about, because we weren't sure before. We just said false. Well, that's about whether deletion protection is enabled. So if our table is deleted, it's just deleted. There's no second check that's gonna happen. And we were right. This is all part of the timestamp. So it's 17 minutes past 10 in the morning, and then 47, and then it looks like this is a real detail of the seconds. So 47.46600 seconds. And that is the creation date time, so the timestamp that the table was created. We said that there was another timestamp we noticed. Oh, I can go more. Okay, that hasn't printed very well, has it? All I do is press enter, but yeah, I can't see the other timestamp. We said we saw this string which was 07AC6682-4866. That is the table ID. Okay, the table ID. The table name is content library. Total size in bytes is 0, but it is active. We have two attributes, an attribute called author year, an attribute called topic difficulty, meaning topic and difficulty, like VPC 300. CloudFront 300, and then each of these is a string. We just put S, so that's the type of attribute. Okay, so that seems to be working. So that's working. Right, now let's I'm going to have another go with the command that puts an item in my table. What was the command again? Let's keep it simple, like we did before, given that the CLI is behaving unpredictably. So sure, here's a simplified command to put an item into your DynamoDB table. So it's AWS DynamoDB put item content library, and we're just going to provide the author year. We don't really have to provide anything else. We do have to provide the author year because that's the partition key. So this is a must. So we're doing the minimum that we must do. There we go. The system cannot find the path specified. Why not? Why? The system cannot find the path specified. I think it's something to do with the Again, I am told the system cannot find the path specified. Okay, let's do a bit of thinking. Why might the command prompt believe that I am specifying a path? Is it some of the characters in the value for item? please have a think. I am aware that slashes often cause trouble with my Windows command prompt. Okay, let's stop there.